Welcome to the Voice Room Podcast, Singapore's one and only podcast dedicated to unlocking the power of your voice, perfecting your speech, and mastering the art of communication. Whether you're a student, a professional, or someone looking to elevate your presentations, you're in the right place. Now, let's dive into today's conversation with your host, the expert in voice, speech, and communication, Carina Tien.
Hello there and welcome back to the Voice Room Podcast. My name is Carina and I'm your host. Today's episode is a little different. We are not going to focus on how to use your voice. We are going to explore how not to use it. And yes, today's conversation is all about silence, which might be the most powerful communication tool you have. Let's dive in. When we think about communication, most of us think about speaking. Words, tone, delivery, voice. But here is something that we often forget. Silence communicates too. It can communicate presence, power, permission, pressure. It can soothe or provoke. It can invite reflection or reveal discomfort. Silence isn't nothing. Silence is not the absence of communication. It is a language of its own. In fact, in high-context cultures like Japan, Finland, and many indigenous communities, silence is deeply respected. It's seen as a sign of wisdom, restraint, and thoughtfulness. In contrast, in more talkative cultures such as the US, people often speak to fill the silence, driven by anxiety or a fear of what might surface if they remain quiet. So the question becomes, what if we give silence more authority in our communication? Let's be real, silence can feel uncomfortable. Have you ever been in a meeting where someone asks a question and no one responds? The silence stretches. Eyes flicker around the room. Eventually, someone breaks it just to ease the tension, and the conversation rushes ahead like nothing happened. Or maybe you had a tense conversation with someone. You speak your mind and get silence in return. Suddenly, your thoughts spiral. Are they upset? Did I mess up? Why are they not saying anything? We often equate silence with disapproval, distance, or rejection. But silence doesn't mean those things. Silence can mean thinking, processing, respecting, even offering space. Our discomfort with silence often reflects our own inner noise. Have you ever noticed that the most confident people in the room are not the ones talking the most? They are the ones who speak when it matters and pause when it counts. Here is a powerful quote by Nancy Glein, author of Time to Think. She says, "The quality of everything we do depends on the quality of the thinking we do first. And the quality of our thinking depends on how we are treated while we are thinking." Now think about that. What if silence is the gift that allows others to think deeply? When you're not rushing to respond, feel, or fix, you're giving permission. You are holding the space. You are showing power. Now, let's talk about the technique. One of my favorite tools to teach clients, especially in a high-stakes presentation or conflict conversations, is the intentional pause. The pause gives people time to absorb your words. It signals confidence, It makes your message land. Here is an example. Instead of saying, I think we should move forward with plan B because plan A isn't working and the numbers show that conversion dropped 12% last quarter and plan B has better ROI projections. You could say, I think we should move forward with plan B. Plan A isn't working. The numbers show a 12% drop in conversions last quarter. Plan B has stronger ROI projections. Each pause lets the words breathe, and that space, that's where the impact is felt. Now let's flip the lens. Silence isn't just about how you speak. It is about how you listen. So many of us listen to respond. We wait for our turn. We rehearse our reply while the other person is still talking. But true listening requires silence, not just on the outside, but also on the inside. It means quieting your assumptions, your judgments, your inner narrator. Try this in your next conversation. Ask someone how they're feeling and don't interrupt. Don't feel the silence. Let them find their words. Let them feel heard. That's where the real communication happens. Next, let's talk about silence during conflict. Now, this is a big one. In conflict, we intend to go into fight or flight. We react. We defend. We interrupt. We raise our voices. But silence can diffuse escalation. When emotions rise, a pause can create space. It signals, I'm thinking. I'm not going to react impulsively. I respect this moment. Try this line. Give me a second. I want to respond with care. Or even just a pause. Let the heat settle. You will be amazed at how that one pause can change the tone of the entire conversation. Now, how about non-verbal silence? Silence isn't just auditory, it is physical. A knowing look, a raised eyebrow, a warm nod, a deep breath. These are all forms of silent communication. Sometimes they are more honest than words. I once worked with a client who wanted to be a more charismatic speaker. But what transformed his presence wasn't adding more words. It was the quiet moment he allowed after telling a personal story. Letting people feel it. Letting himself feel it. Not rushing to move on. And that's charisma. Not all silence is helpful though. Silence can be used to stonewall or to punish or to avoid. We have this thing called the silent treatment. And this is not mindful. It is manipulative. So how do you tell the difference? Check your intention. Are you using silence to connect or to control? To allow space or to withhold it? Healthy silence is conscious. It's chosen with care, not as a weapon. So how do you integrate silence into your communication? And here are a few simple ways. Number 1, start your day with 1 minute of silence before speaking. Number 2, pause for 3 seconds before answering questions. 3, end your thoughts with stillness instead of filling space with or you know. 4, when emotions rise, breathe instead of react. Number 5, When someone else is processing, don't rush them. Number 6, watch for your impulse to feel silence and ask, what am I afraid of hearing? Or what am I afraid of feeling? Silence isn't empty. It is where listening happens. It's where presence lives. It's where truth can rise without being forced. In the world that rewards noise, silence is revolutionary. So let's use it. Once again, thank you very much for joining me today on the Voice Room podcast. If this episode gives you something to think about, share it with someone else who needs it. Leave me a review, subscribe, and follow me on Instagram at The Voice Room for daily insights and tools. And I'm so excited to see you all in the next episode. Until then, speak when it matters and let silence do the rest. Your voice is your power, even when it's quiet.